All right, Coach, how would you assess kind of your overall training camp moving into the regular season?
Well, frankly, I don't know that we had much of a training camp. To be honest, the group of players we had training camp with are out in Newfoundland here now with the Growlers, save for I think we might have had 4 guys that played today that were in that actual training camp. So we're used to that. That's kind of how things have gone for us, and how we respond to the Maple Leafs in their camp. Really, the Marlies training camp occurs with the Maple Leafs, and that's the way it's gone for us. So in terms of the players coming down here, it's going to take us a little time to get things really going and get comfortable and all of those types of things. Obviously today was a pretty messy game in a lot of areas, but we have opportunity this week to kind of clean things up, and that's what we'll look to do over the next couple of days.
And cleaning things up, does that have to do with maybe the lineups? Do you think there'll be a little bit of moving around in those lineups? Are you happy with how they are right now?
Well, we gave some guys a day off today that are very important people for us, both on forward and defense. So obviously we'll get those guys back in, and we'll look more like ourselves in terms of our lineup and with our best guys, when the regular season begins. But there were some guys we wanted to give extra looks to today, in addition to giving other guys off. If we had more guys available, we would have given a lot more guys days off. Frankly, they're coming off of a very long, grinding training camp, and an exhibition game here today was probably not exactly what the doctor ordered. That said, it was a chance for us to get some game film of our guys playing together and all those types of things, and a chance for me to coach some guys for the first time. Subban and Cracknell and Juris and guys like that I haven't been behind the bench with before, so it was a good chance for me to get to know them a little bit better.
And now talking about new guys, news broke during the game of Sam Gagner being loaned to the team. What would a veteran presence like him bring to your team this year?
Well, he's a skilled guy. Obviously I just learned about that situation just prior to our game here today, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to think about it, but he's an accomplished NHL player, and brings a lot of skill, and he's a player or a guy from this area, and I'm sure given the circumstances, if anything, he'll be happy to be closer to home, and we'll welcome him here and get him going. And of course, a guy that has those type of accomplishments and the skill set that he has, we think he'll give us a boost for sure.
Sheldon, you guys aren't tied to a 23-man roster on a deadline like the Leafs are, but that being said, are you guys looking to trim some things down, or are you gonna do you have a number of forwards, defensemen? Are you gonna bring in a goalie? Kind of what's your ideas for your roster?
Well, we don't have because we're not set at the 23. We don't really settle on any sort of number. We always like to make sure we have an extra forward available, and usually 2 extra defensemen available, just because it helps our practices roll a little bit more efficiently. There's a number of things happening. Obviously, the goaltending situation is one, and we've had some injuries prior to today. We had some today as well. So you're just trying to sort through some of that stuff, and then also we have some guys in here on PTOs that we've just been looking at and haven't quite made our decision on. So we'll take our time with some of these things. Again, because we never really had any sort of official type of training camp, you're just sort of hitting the ground running and trying to sort through it as you can.
Specifically, is there any indication of where you would like Rasmus Sandin to play this year?
That's not my decision. A player like him, much like with Illigren last year, it's an organizational decision. So wherever they decide is best for him, and I'm sure they'll have a lot of conversations with his side of the coin with his agents and representatives. But for us here, we coach the players as they arrive.
Coach, what were your thoughts on first Garrett Sparks being in the backup, but also not getting McElhaney and Pickard down from waivers?
Well, for Sparks, he's worked extremely hard, and kind of worked his way through the organization and did everything that you could have asked from a prospect in this last year in particular, and accomplished just about all that a goalie can accomplish at this level. So to see him get an opportunity to start the season in the NHL is great for him. I know. As I say, he's worked extremely hard for it, and he'd be very happy. And as for the other guys, they get an opportunity to remain in the NHL. Calvin Pickard is the guy, obviously, that I'm most familiar with, and how much he meant to our team last year. Even when he wasn't in the net, he was just an integral component in our locker room. The leadership he has, and the attitude and the positivity that he brings, and how he works every day. So you're thrilled for him to get a chance in the NHL.
In addition to Garrett, you had a number of players move, maybe not full-time, but a number of players up to the Leafs right now, which kind of, for lack of a better word, has depleted some of your roster here. How are you guys going to look to, work through those players graduating up to the Leafs?
Well, there's a couple different things. Obviously, the first thing is that it creates extra opportunity for others. I look at not just those that went up to the NHL, but we lost some other guys by by different means. Obviously Ben Smith, Mira Alton, and go over to Europe, and so you've got some holes there. So you look at a guy like Jeremy Bracco, who's going to take a step, and his camp that he's had so far shows that he's ready to take a step. And then you're just going to rely on other guys. Grunstrom and Engvall here now on a full-time basis. It's nice to have them right from the start of a season. And then, it's a unique season in that we don't have an influx of young players coming in, entry-level guys or anything like that, coming from junior, what have you. So we're having to, look at different avenues, such as, Molino comes in as a free agent, American League free agent. Clark as well, same thing, and then we bring Picnic in, who played in the ECHL last year. So looking at different avenues like that, and we've got some guys in on PTO, so we're trying to sort of sort that thing out. As I said, because we didn't have necessarily a formal type of training camp with our group, it creates a little more challenge that way, but we'll get that sorted out over time.
What are your thoughts on Kaskisuo so far from what you've seen? I know he was with Chicago last year, obviously monitored from afar, but now in your fold, what have you seen from him?
I think he's been good. We've been able to play him in all 3 games and get him lots of time in the net. It's kind of a mixed bag. The previous 2 games to this were probably more reflective of the ECHL caliber of play. Today it was more AHL caliber of play, but it was kind of messy in front of him, so didn't give him a lot of help in that sense. But just the fact we were able to get him reps, we feel good about. And with all the goaltending stuff that's been going on, the one thing that's happened here is a bounce has finally gone Kaskisuo's way in terms of him getting a great opportunity to start the season here. So he's worked extremely hard for it, and we're happy to have him, obviously, and look forward to giving him a great chance here.